Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to study about the force temp vibration with rotating and reciprocating unbalance. Sometimes we are using the machines like electric motors, pump, fans, clothes, dryers, compressors having rotating elements with unbalance of mass. This, this generates the centrifugal type of harmonic excitation on the machine, right? So due to the centrifugal type of harmonic excitation, the vibration which is produced in the system or vibration which is produced on the machine elements is cause the damage to the system. So the vibration which is produced due to the unbalance of the reciprocating or rotating mass of the machine element, we should have to uh, we should have to absorb it with the help of spring or a damper. So the vibration which is produced during this system is called as the force damp vibration with rotating and reciprocating unbalance. The final balance is measured in terms of an equivalent mass m0 rotating with its center of gravity at a distance e from the axis of rotation. The centrifugal force is proportional to the square of frequency of rotation and it varies with the speed of rotation and is different from the harmonic excitation in which the maximum force is independent of the frequency. So the force which is generated during the constant harmonic motion excitation is differ as the force which is generated during the rotating and reciprocating unbalance. Why? Because here the force which is generated is not going to repeat it with time period, or the force which is generated is not periodic. So the force which is generated during the rotating and reciprocating unbalance is not called as the harmonic or sinusoidal force, but the force which is generated due to the rotating as eccentric masses is a common phenomenon that on sea, right? So the machines such as centrifugal pumps, turbine, electric motors, the unbalance in rotating machines is measured in terms of equivalent mass m0, rotating with its center of gravity at a distance of e from the axis of rotation, right? So due to this rotating due to the rotating due to this rotating part, right? The rotating part is away from the center of gravity at E, right? The distance between the rotating part and rotating mass m0 and the center of gravity is small e and is called as the eccentricity, right? So the force which is generated due to the rotating mass, about its center of gravity is called as the centrifugal force. And the centrifugal force which is generated is m0 omega square e. The centrifugal force due to the unbalanced mass which is rotating about the center of gravity is m0 omega square e and acts as harmonic excitation. Now, due to the generation of the centrifugal force and the external force, the vibration is generated in the system, right? Due to the centrifugal force, the displacement of the unbalanced mass is E sine omega t. Displacement of the unbalanced mass is E sine omega t, and displacement of the mass is x. So the total displacement of the mass is x plus E sine omega t. Here the displacement of mass m minus m0, right? X is the displacement of mass m minus m0, and for the displacement of the m0 is E sine omega t, right? So the total displacement of the mass is x plus E sine omega t, right? Here the force which is generated m0 omega square E is the centrifugal force. Here the inertia force is also generated. The inertia force which is generated is two kind of inertia force. One is the m minus m0 x double dot. Also the inertia force which is generated due to the centrifugal or rotating mass which is having the displacement of mass m0 x plus e sin omega t. So two kind of inertia forces is generated here. One is the due to the m minus m0 and one is the displacement of mass m0. Here the spring is available, which is spring and damper both are available, which is dissipate or absorb the energy which is generated due to the vibration of the system. And the force, spring force, which is generated is k into x. Spring force is k into x. Also, there is the damping force is generated due to the damper, which is used to absorb or isolate the vibration, which is used to absorb the energy due to the vibration or isolate the vibration which is produced in the system, right, is the damper. And the force which is generated, force which is acts due to the damper, or you can say the damping force, is cx dot, right. So two types of force is generated due to the spring and damper. So total force which is generated is are four. One is two are the inertia forces, and two are the spring force and damping force. So the total vertical displacement of the mass of machine is x. Total vertical displacement of unbalanced rotating mass m is equal to x plus e sin omega t. Now, inertia force due to the unbalanced rotating mass, right? Here, the inertia force due to the unbalanced rotating mass. So we have to find the inertia forces due to only unbalanced rotating mass, which is rotating about the center of gravity. Now, if we are finding, if we are going to find the inertia force of all the system or all the mass is mx double dot, or you can say the m d square x by dt square. But here, the inertia force is generated is m0 d square by dt square into, in bracket, the displacement of the mass, right. So here the displacement of vertical displacement of mass of machine is x, and the total vertical displacement of unbalanced rotating mass is x plus e sin omega t, right. So the derivation of the m0 d square x by dt square is equal to, we can get the value of inertia forces is m0 x double dot minus m0 omega square e sin omega t. This inertia force is only for the unbalanced rotating mass. The spring force which is generated is kx, damping force which is generated is cx dot. Now we are going to take the free body diagram of the machine, free body diagram for the mass which is suspended of the system, right. So here m minus m0 x double dot, this inertia force which is generated for the mass, right, m minus m0 x double dot is the inertia forces which is generated due to the displacement of the mass m0 x double dot minus m0 omega square e sin omega t. This is the inertia force which is generated due to the displacement of unbalanced rotating mass. Kx is the spring load, or you can say the stiffness load. Kx dot is the damping load, damping force. This is the spring force. So the total four kind of force are acting on the system, right. Now we are taking the D'Alembert principle. Now we are taking the D'Alembert principle, which is, the D'Alembert principle is the summation of the total acting force, the summation of the total acting force on the system are zero. So here the two types of forces acting on in this system is one is the inertia forces and second is the external forces. So the total summation of inertia force plus external force equal to 0. So the inertia forces are two forces which are m minus m0 x double dot plus m0 x double dot minus m0 omega square e sin omega t plus kx plus cx dot. is equal to 0. Right now, if we are open this bracket, so we have mx double dot minus m0x double dot plus m0x double dot minus m0 omega square e sin omega t plus kx plus cx dot equal to 0. Now here the minus term m0x double dot, right, m0x double dot and the minus m0 omega square e sin omega t, right, both two terms are negative value. So here suppose this is the m minus m0 is the total mass of the plate or mass of the body without rotating unbalanced path. So mx double dot plus kx plus cx dot, right? But here m0x double dot is going to be neglected due to the mass is m0 mass m0 can be negligible as compared to the total mass of the plate, right? Now this m0 omega square e sin omega t can be taken at the right side of the equation. So we can get mx dot double dot plus kx plus cx dot equal to m0 omega square sin omega t. Right now compare this equation with the equation of mathematics is mx double dot plus cx dot mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to r of x is equal to r of x, and the equation is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to r of x is the linear second order differential equation of the motion, and also the non-homogeneous equation, and also the non-homogeneous equation. So if we are going to solve this equation, we cannot solve this equation directly, but we have to find the complementary function and also the integral particular integral. After getting the complementary function and particular integral, we have to summation of that both to find the general solution of this equation. But remember, we have studied in our last lecture that which is the force damped vibration with constant harmonic excitation, right? In that lecture we have the equation is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx is equal to f0 sin omega t. There is f0 sin omega t, and then we had completely solved the equation with complementary function and particular integral. We have the equation of amplitude and phase angle, right? So if we replace the value of f0 with m0 omega square e, if we replace the value of f0 with m0 omega square e, then the equation which is converted is for the force vibration with rotating and reciprocating unbalanced mass, right? So the complete solution for the differential equation we can get the x is equal to xc plus xp, where xc is the complementary solution, complementary function, and xp is the particular integral of the equation. Now the equation which will we get x is equal to x omega p minus x into e raised to minus zeta omega and t sine in bracket under root 1 minus zeta square omega and t plus phi 1 plus m0 omega square e sin omega t minus 5 divided by k under root 1 minus omega divided by omega n raised to square whole square plus 2 zeta omega upon omega square, right, where phi is the phase angle. The phi is phase angle which is the angle between total displacement to the displacement due to the rotating unbalance. Now amplitude of the steady state vibration is m0 omega square e by k divided by under root 1 minus omega upon omega n square whole square plus 2 zeta omega upon omega n whole square is equal to m omega square e divided by m omega n square, which is the, if we are putting the value of k is equal to m omega n square, right? So the damping factor zeta, we can get the omega upon omega n whole square divided by under root 1 minus omega upon omega n whole square plus 2 zeta omega upon omega n whole square is equal to 1 upon 2 zeta. And also the phase angle phi is equal to tan inverse 2 zeta omega upon omega n divided by 1 minus omega upon omega n whole square. With this equation, with this amplitude equation, we have some general assumption like if the resonance occurs during this condition, so omega upon omega n is equal to 1, omega upon omega n is equal to 1. So this value 1 minus omega upon omega n whole square is going to convert in 0, right? So here only remaining part is 2 zeta omega upon omega n whole square. Also above the omega upon omega n whole square are cancelled. So the equation which is convert into m0 divided by m divided by 2 zeta whole square, right? If we are not going to in bracket here, so the equation may be m0 by m divided by 4 zeta square. The equation may be m0 by m divided by 4 zeta square. If the condition is a resonance, or you can say if the natural frequency is, the value of natural frequency is equal to the excited frequency, so the amplitude of the steady state vibration or the amplitude of this condition is converted into m0 upon m divided by 4 zeta square, right? If the if under this condition the motion of the main mass m minus m0 lags that of the mass m0 by 90 degree. When omega upon omega n is very large, the ratio, the x by m0 e by m tends to unity, and the main mass m minus m0 has an amplitude of x is equal to m0 e upon m. This motion is 180 degree out of the phase with the exciting force. That is when unbalanced mass move up and the main mass moves down and vice versa, right? So these are the assumption when the rotating or reciprocating mass is unbalanced, right? So the damping factor and phase angle is there. Now there are the pump balancing. This is not going to be explained by us. Just to read about the pump balancing, what is the importance of pump balancing, and what is the factor, dangerous factor, if we are not going to balance the unbalanced, right? Pumps and pump systems are unique engineered products that require specialized knowledge in all phases of repair, rebuilding, and balancing. Pump maintenance, the importance of the balancing. Pumps, pump user may label a problem as misalignment, bad bearings, or overheating, but the root of cause is often unbalance in the component or a pump assembly. Unbalance causes to vibration and heat buildup, which results in bearing failure. Some danger effects or some danger factors for unbalanced pumps includes, and these factors are not going to be explained. Just read. Sharp deflection, a bad shaft, or uncontrolled resonance can be bad in deflection and damage to the entire system. Excessive unexpected vibration, mechanical seal, mechanical packing failures, catastrophic bearing failures, seizing in many pumps clearance are so close that if the impeller is not well balanced, the vibration could cause the rotating assembly to deflect enough to seize. To clarify the balancing process, we will describe it from the perspective of alignment. Balancing involves aligning the geometric center with the mass of center. The geometric center is the center of the shaft and pump impeller assembly. The mass center is center the assembly tries to rotate around naturally. The pump's impeller would spin around this axis if it were thrown the air like frisbee. This is an example of the unbalancing mass of vibration. If this plate is rotating at high speed of the shaft, and if it is unbalanced, then we have to add some kind of mass at here to balance the plate. If we are not going to balance, if we are not going to balance the unbalancing of the shaft, then it can be caused some kind of dangerous, or it can be caused the failure of the shaft or bearings, right? So